Hey everyone, Moritz Seibert here, CIO at Exponential Asset Management. Today it is my pleasure to welcome Ray, the Chief Investment Officer of Alltech Capital, as I'm continuing with my series on interviewing some of the most exciting crypto hedge fund managers in the world. So Ray, you are on the West Coast. It's early morning or midday for you. It's late evening here in Europe. Anyway, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, Moritz, and that seems to be the crypto world spanning all time zones.
Yeah, it's 24/7, 365. I think that's true for everything, including Real Vision interviews. Hey, Ray, before we get going, I know you are a medical doctor. This has become clear in, some of the earlier conversations that you and I had. So how does a medical doctor end up in the ever so exciting crypto space?
That's a question that I guess dates kind of quite far back. The last sort of decade of my career, that of a physician, licensed, dual board certified in Canada and the United States, but it actually predates all of that. I grew up with my my older brother actually as coders, not formally trained software engineers by any stretch of the imagination, but just always scratching our own itch with software. So whether that's programming in BASIC or Pascal in the early days to C#, C++, and Python, and of course, more recently Solidity on the Ethereum blockchain. And so sort of over the years, being in the tech space and entrepreneurial, it was one of those multidisciplinary blockchain and crypto being one of those multidisciplinary spaces that really caught my attention in 2014, actually, when I had discovered the Satoshi white paper, and more as an academic endeavor, actually, and doing a deep dive into that. But sort of to fast forward, in 2015, during my medical residency, for folks that have been in the space long enough recall, there were a lot of hacks happening at the time in the electronic medical record systems and hospital systems in Cleveland, Ohio, and otherwise. And at the time, folks were asking for Bitcoin as ransomware. And so those are sort of the early days of crypto, relatively. And so I took it very seriously and explored and studied Bitcoin and the encryption technology behind Bitcoin, and very quickly realized that it was going to be a fundamental technology behind most of the tech infrastructure that moving forward would be very critical. And so, yeah, I developed a thesis and strategies, algorithms, and hedging strategies to be able to also invest into the asset class heavily. Actually, every dollar that I'd made as a physician actually was put into the crypto space at that time, with sort of methodologies that just sort of being prior to that as a follower of the value investment space, sort of the Benjamin Grahams and the Buffetts and the Mungers and such. They kind of had the primary preservation of capital as rule number one, and rule number two was to refer to rule number one. And so it became this sort of endeavor on how to gain exposure to the crypto space for the asymmetry skewed to the upside, whilst preventing any permanent loss of capital. And so, making sort of these yearly trips to Omaha, Nebraska for the Berkshire Hathaway shareholder meeting, and heading out there on Friday, actually, again this year, kind of the Woodstock of capitalism. It was a bit of an inspiration to devise models and investment thesis to be in and around the investment space of crypto. And sort of what spanned between 2015 to 2017 was that I had launched a cybersecurity company to address these security threats in the electronic medical record system. We did perimeter analysis, shadow IT, malvertising, digital footprint, controlled phishing environments, and sold the cybersecurity firm in 2017 to a much larger firm. And I had also acquired a medical practice in Canada, which we had grown to significant. We had about 15,000 patients on the roster, 7 doctors under management, medical office assistants, business admins, nurse practitioners, and just fortuitously had sold that in December of 2019 to go full-time crypto. I had been making far more money trading crypto and investing and having more fun than I ever did in the medical profession. And the innovation and sort of the revolution of blockchain and crypto had appealed to me significantly enough that sold the practice in December of 2019. Actually, that was just about 2 months prior to the WHO declaring a global pandemic in February. So the timing was fortuitous and such that I'm not sure if the practice would have sold just a couple months later. But that afforded me the time to go full time in crypto. And in 2017, folks recall the bull run, the Bitcoin bull run, the run up of Bitcoin up to 20K. And that was sort of also the bull run that friends and family, other doctors and medical students had begun to dabble into the space as well, and had known that I had been actively trading and investing, and had asked if I could help them to take custody of their crypto from a cybersecurity standpoint, but also trade and manage their funds. And so in 2018, more formally, started a friends and family partnership akin to the Buffett partnership of the early days, just a very small circle of folks, and had grown that significantly over the years. The folks that had gotten into the space at the time weren't particularly fond or familiar with the volatility in the crypto space. We as in Bitcoin had 6 over 30% corrections in that bull run up to 20K, 2 of which exceeded 40% corrections. In any other asset class, that would be considered a crash, massive crash. For Bitcoin, 20% retracement can be considered kind of a walk in the park at times. And so after selling the medical practice and going full time into the space in 2019, I had been looking for more private deals in the crypto space, early access to token projects. And it was sort of one of those spaces where if you have a thesis and you develop a trade idea and a trade setup in and around a need, pre-adoption, folks are obviously familiar now with themes, NFTs, and layer ones and such, but we had always been identifying these niches and market segments relatively early. And so it was right around shortly after that time that I had met my good friend now, Greg, and business partner, a couple of folks, Michael, who had spent over a decade at Google and now Microsoft. And the relationships and access to deals in the crypto space really afforded us insights to provide outsized returns on top of how we had already been doing trading in the crypto space. So we can get into that, as I'm sure you're very familiar with, Moritz, but the space changes so rapidly that just staying on top of it is a fun and full-time gig.
Hey there, revolutionaries. Thanks for tuning in. For more content like this, head over to realvision.com/crypto and get unfiltered access to the most brilliant minds in finance and crypto. Join our community of lifelong learners for exclusive access, unparalleled education and unbiased insights.